Hey, everybody, how's it going? Let me double check, make sure we're live at 5 on Facebook here. Well, how you doing? Everybody having a good day? Boy, these days, there's not enough hours in the day. Let me see what's going on here. I'm not showing live at all right now, so give me a second. Oh, there we go. Now we're live. Let's make sure we're live. There I am. Okay, so we are live. All right, so let me get TikTok set up for this, and we'll get on with our day. So we know we're there. I got to turn my volume up anyway. So
you're moving to Council Bluffs. Ricardo, I told you you have to contact me through the message system.
What? Let's make sure we're live. I don't even know what that was. Okay, so we are live. Okay. All right. Let me head over to TikTok. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay. My lives will play through the phone.
Nice. Let me just say something.
We don't want to talk about that. No politics today. Okay, let me get set up here. Let me set up what this is for, and we'll get going here. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all. God, I got nothing. Well, I got stuff accomplished, but not what I wanted to. I just think it's frustrating. All right, what do we got? What am I calling this? Cookie building. There we go. Let me do this. We figure out for a gifty here. Then we can go live. Good to see you all. I wish TikTok would allow us to go live on all three, like I was supposed to go live on all three networks. And then TikTok decided they didn't want to do that. They only wanted gamers to go live like that. So that ended that. So let me find a gifty that people can afford. I usually stay around 99 cents because people don't have a lot of money. So I don't, the highest gift I usually is like maybe $3.99 if I know it's a good week. But normally it's around $2.99 for the first gift, and then it's 99 cents for the rest of the gifts, the way I charge it. Keep costs down for everybody. Where's the chocolate sundae? There's so many on here, and it's like playing roulette or Wheel of Fortune, trying to figure out which gift you want to pull. There it is. Let's do some 10 ice cream sundaes today. 10 chocolate sundaes. Okay. All right. Well, I'm about to go live, and here we go, you guys. And I'll show you. I was thinking about this build from the other day, and all right, let me go live. We'll talk about it in a second. Let me go live here. All right, let me get the camera set up. Okay, we're good. Make sure I got that on so people can hear me. We like the Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now, right? Okay. Anyway, what I was saying, for everybody just coming in, there we go. Hi, world. Good to see you all. Get this thing up here. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you. I got one person watching over there. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. There we go. Got my little work table set up. Hey, everybody, welcome. No readings till tonight, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. However, what we're doing right now is we're working on that National Lampoon Vacation House. It's the cookie house. We were working on this the other day. I ran late today. It's like I get up early enough, but I'm on the phone. By the time I get off the damn phone, it's after 1 o'clock. And then the day's shot. So it's like, okay, I managed to go out, pick up some dog food, run a couple errands, and then came home. Had a little lunch, and then here I am. But it's like my whole day shot to hell. And I don't know. I'm not retired because I'm doing this stuff. So obviously I'm not retired. But I can understand like my retired friends who complain that there's not enough hours in the day because there really isn't. And as you get older, it gets worse because you're going through all the medical stuff. So mostly when you're on the phone, it's always over prescriptions or medical appointments or things that are wrong with you and things you're having to deal with. Like with me trying to get my glasses, trying to arrange for my contacts. I finally have an appointment tomorrow for my contacts. Everybody out there can pray for me that everything goes well tomorrow morning. Be real much obliged because I really miss my contacts. So it's stuff like that. I'm constantly on the move with stuff like that. And then you get the daily health stuff. You get the DMV stuff that you're dealing with. And things like that. So I mean, there's always something going on. So retirement for most people isn't what it's supposed to be. Semi-retirement what it's cracked up to be either. And I'm not retired. I mean, thank you. I need all the help I can get with my eye exam tomorrow because I haven't worn contacts in a year. So I'm just hoping that my eyes, can handle the contacts. I'm just praying because I see 100% better through contacts than I do glasses. So it's a major prayer going on. Then I have a DMV eyesight test coming up. So I mean, it's crucial. Hey, Pamela. Okay, so let's talk about last week. Well, you know what? If you're healthy and you retire, you're doing good. But honest to God, I'm not saying I retired. I had to retire to take care of my mom and dad, but I was still working part. I was still freelancing and stuff. And I still do freelance and stuff, to make money, plus supporting the TikTok. But I mean, the older you get, the worse it gets because it's either your teeth, it's either your eyes, it's either some other malady that comes at you, and then you're on the phone with the doctor's office trying to get appointments, referrals. Make sure your medication's coming in right. All that. I mean, it's just the whole day gets zapped. Like today was I had to call VSP over my insurance for my eyes, and then get a hold of the first place I was going to go. I can't see me until the 28th. So then I made a call to the other place I used to go to. Got in there for tomorrow morning. And in the meantime, like I said, by the time you get done, the whole day, it's just 1, 2 o'clock. And then I had to run errands. I had to go get some canned dog food and some other stuff. And then I get home, I'm here about 10 minutes, and here I am, So it's just, it's insanity. It's not what you guys think. Yeah, it's shot, the whole day shot. Whole day's blown to bits. And it's really frustrating. And it's not like it's just one day, doing that. It's almost every day of my life. It's like that. I'll look down at the clock on the phone and I'll be like, whoa, when did it turn that time? So it's like constant. And retirement is like that. My mother and father were I think they were busier in retirement than when they worked. I really do. Especially my dad with his multiple appointments. Man, we would be at Kaiser like 4 or 5 times a week, man, for my dad's stuff. I mean, it just gets busy. And I have a bunch of medical coming up. This eye thing is important because, like I said, I see better through contacts. So I'm praying that my contact, it goes well tomorrow. Because I have to have a vision thing for DMV. So, You're in bed health. Oh, you're on bed health before doing. Yeah. So it's not like I retired, but I stopped working to take care of both my parents, and all that. And I've never been to work since. My dad died in 2011. I think I quit in like 2010 is when I originally quit working, full time to take care of them. And then my mom died, 2019. So I had 9 years of, not really working, just doing other things. I'm good, Lorraine. How are you? Hi, Lorena. All right, so tonight, not right now, not till tonight. No psychic reading until tonight. That'll be at 6:45 p.m. Pacific tonight, okay? This is fun time. This is just time to unwind and do some things and do me things. People don't realize that I'm a very crafty individual. I love doing arts and crafts. I got that from my mom's side of the family. And I do Legos and things like that. I love doing arts and crafts. And I love this time of year. So I got behind, of course, because my schedule's all messed up all the time. We got behind on this National Lampoon's house. We still have another gingerbread house to finish off. Then there's a couple Christmas things that we're going to be doing too. So, yeah, I'm okay. Okay for now. All right. So what we did the other day, and tomorrow we'll be back here at 2 o'clock. And tomorrow you get to look at my face to see that I get my contacts or didn't. That'll be one of those deals. You'll know what kind of mood I'm in. And this needed to be yellow. And I think we got this. See how it's yellow? But under the main line, it's hard to see that it's yellow. Okay? So we have to do the roof. The roof's kind of broken. I still got to glue it. But we'll go ahead and do the roof. And they have this yellow on the roof, and I think it's kind of strange, to put the yellow on the roof. And I get it because they want to make it look like the house is all lit up. Remember like in the movie? The millions and millions of twinkling lights. And I think that's the whole point of making the roof yellow too. But we do have some gray, and I'm thinking I want to use the gray. I want to make it like a real roof. You know what I mean? I want to make it like a real roof. So that's what I'm leaning to. We're going to paint that gray today, the roof part. And then I just might add, because it's 3 o'clock already, so, I have to break off in about an hour or so anyway, so I can get ready for a night show. So I just might turn around and make thicker paint of the yellow so we can have more of a yellow tinge on those. So let me grab the roof pieces and we can start with that. I'm going to go ahead and do a thickener. We'll try to keep it thicker than I had this stuff. Because see, here's the front. Yeah. See how nicely yellow the front is? That's because I did it a different way. But see, they're almost the same now. See the yellow? I would like the size to be that color yellow. That's what I'm shooting for. So we're going to try that. Who knows? Will it work? Hey, only the shadow knows on that one. So let me grab these roof pieces. I still got to glue the roof pieces on here, but let's work on the roof a little bit today. And this is the one that's broken. So I'm going to have to, so I have super glue in the other room. I haven't done anything with it yet. So tonight will be super glue night for that. So I can put that back together. So let's grab the roof. We'll do the roof first today. See, again, they want it to be that yellow. And again, I understand why. I'll show you the picture. And I understand why, because the whole point is this is you looking at the house at night. You know, like in the movie. Oh yeah, we still got Cousin Eddie's RV for a cookie too. And then my friend ordered me the Cousin Eddie RV Lego set. It's like a Brio set. It's like 500 pieces. So we can put Cousin Eddie's RV together. See how the roof looks yellow underneath? And I think that's the whole point of, that they're trying to reach is that whole, millions of twinkling light thing. But I think the roof should be that charcoal color because roofs are usually that color. So we're going to go with that color because he was stapling across that roof. He was doing all that stapling. So one of these, there's another part on this that's actually part of the roof. And I'm trying to figure out, it's one of these longer pieces. Is also the secondary roof. Maybe it's this one because this one's so long. This may be the secondary roof right here because there's some different pieces in here and I don't know what they do and where they go. So I'm thinking this one that's got that shape is the secondary roof for that one little section. Yeah, because see how it kind of fits against the house? See how that one fits against here? There's a wall that's in here. So I'm thinking this is the wall part that sits like this. And there's the roof itself. Okay, so let me see if I can make that gray thicker. Let me find the gray now. And then we'll try some of this yellow. I'm just trying to get the yellow I want. Now for the lights, I'll show you the yellow they have for the lights. And the lights, those lights are going to have to be put on individually. Thank you for the heart me. Okay, where's it? Where did I put the gray? Hang on. The gray paint's here somewhere. Don't go there. Nope, not you. Must be over there. I got paints coming up my ears. And I do have a goal of, just for what it's worth, I do have a goal of, thank you for the heart me, of collecting 10 ice cream bowls. If you guys can help me, my ice cream sundae, that would be wonderful. I'm feeling chocolate today. So, technically, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. Technically, I'm not retired, but, depends how you look at it. Because I'm still working, doing freelance work and stuff. Technically, I'm not retired, but on the other hand, when you look at the big picture, I retired to take care of my mom and dad. Christmas vacation. Okay. All right, we got a brush right here. Okay. All right, let's see if I can mix it now. I'm a victim. Let's put it this way: I'm a victim of circumstance as far as being retired, because I'm technically not retired. Okay, these are really cool. I have these with my core water. This has turned out really cool to help me build this house with. So here's the gray paint. They gave us a lot of gray paint. That's why I think there's an intention to do the roof. Not gray paint, but frosting. I wish we could play music too, but we can't. So. No point getting into that fight. So let me kind of do this. Maybe I can soften it up a little bit without having to wet it down. Let's see. And if it doesn't, then I'll just wet it down, just soften it. Thank you for the popular. Thank you. I wish we could play music today, but the other two networks, which I can't mention, on TikTok. The other two networks will give me copyright issues. So I promise tomorrow we'll get started right at 2:00. Because tomorrow we should be able to start applying the millions and millions of twinkly lights on this bad boy. All right, guys. Give us a like, follow, share. If you haven't followed us yet, give us a follow. We're going to be doing a lot of little projects like this. And I bid buy another one, another gingerbread house on sale. So we'll get to do a Valentine's house. I'm already scoping out the Dollar Tree for candy for that. All right. Let's see if I have this soft enough at this point. If not, then what we'll do is I'm going to throw some in there and we're going to make it easier to put on. See, already it's difficult to handle. Let's see how it looks. Now that's not too bad, really. Honestly, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Decisions. Let's see if I can do it. It looks like I might be able to do it today without having to soften anything. I just don't want it clumpy or anything like that. If it's going to make clumpy things, I don't want it. You know? But if I can thin it out enough, like it's going right now, this is fabulous. That'll work perfectly. See what I'm doing? Because before I had to thin it out. So, yeah, that's fabulous. So let's just go ahead and do that. So we're going to get these painted up. I'll be back at 6:45 to do readings tonight, everybody. Some of this is too thick. I may still have to water it down. I was convinced for a second there I would be able to do this, but I guess not. Why would I, right? But yeah, I mean the whole day shot is just craziness, and every day is like that. Every day. I've got my animals to feed today. I still got all that going on, and domestic life stuff. Yeah, I'm not liking the way it's going on. So we're gonna make some. We're gonna stop. Maybe some inner stuff I can use. Use this one because it's kind of damp. But Cousin Eddie's RV is en route, and that's going to be a 3-day build. I can tell you, because I have a Stomper. You guys don't know who Stomper is. I got one of the last Stomper Oakland A's mascots, and that was 600 pieces, and the thing is not that tall, and so it took forever to put it together because it's not like standard Lego pieces. They're little tiny, like let's say you got a 5-top Lego piece that's this big, right? Theirs are like this big, really tiny, really tiny. So it's a harder kit to put together, and I suspect because the RV itself is 10 inches by 4 inches by 3 inches tall. I suspect that size with 582 pieces, that it's going to be a humdinger to build, like Stomper. I'm going to loosen this up with some water. So let me pour some in here. I don't want to pour. I'm going to push this stuff on my work table here. If you like gobs, this is it, man. We got gobs. Okay. Put you back in the bag so you don't make a horrendous mess. So we're going to be doing this stuff for the next month and a half. I don't mind it though. I got to remember to put this stuff in nicely. The other day when I did, I put too much water in, and then it ended up getting really ugly. I just got to watch what I'm doing. Achoo! How about we'll mix a little bit of that right there. Oh, sorry, I blocked my face, didn't I? There I am. And the brush fell. It's going to be like that today, isn't it? Where'd the brush go? going to be like that today. You can just tell. Let me get my flashlight. Everything in here is dark gray. It's there's nothing in my flashlight. That's how life is. That's how you're going to do it. That's how it's going to be, isn't it? Hang on, let me put some batteries in. Everything in here is, this is a photography studio. Grab this. It's a photography video studio. So I have light gray floors in here. I've got a nice dark medium gray carpet. And the walls are done in light gray. So everything's dark in here. So like when that fell and the brush is black, I'm doomed. And what makes life interesting and what people don't realize during my night show is I have to have this headlamp. And the batteries aren't working. Oh, I see it anyway. I see you, Mr. Paintbrush. Come on back that way. There you go. And it's dark. With these bright lights on, it is dark in here. I don't know why this didn't go. I probably put it backwards. Story of my life. No, did I put it backwards? No. What seems to be the problem? Or maybe I put one in backwards. Yeah, that one went in backwards. So it's so dark. That's right. I put one in backwards. That, because my cards, the tarot cards are black. The writing on them. So I have to have a light. There we go. See how nice bright? So I have to have a light on the tarot cards because once they get to this point at night, and those two bright lights I have, I cannot see. You can't see what's on the cards. So it's like a no-win thing. Let's see if this will work. I want to keep it fairly thick. I don't want it running off of here. I just want to keep it fairly thick. Because I made that, in a lot of ways, I made that too runny over there. It's just something I didn't want to do with this. So let's see. Let's do some of this. That was too runny. This is too runny. Okay, we'll add some more. It's going to be like that today, huh? See, that's why I just scheduled the roof today for this kind of situation. A lot of controversy over the movies Vacation and Las Vegas Vacation, Las Vegas and European Vacation and Christmas Vacation because of what happened with Chevy Chase a couple weeks ago. And it's sad, it's sad that it ended, I hope it didn't end his career because I think he's funny, but he's lost a lot of fans because of that. Because of what happened, he has lost a lot of fans. And that makes me feel bad because the guy's talented, the guy's funny, but some things aren't, Sometimes you have to break with the old ways before you get into the new ways. And good example of that is I do some singing during my show at night. For you guys that don't know. And one of the songs I do is Kalijah. And that was written in the 1930s or 20s. But when you listen to the words to it, there are racist undertones in that song. Well, it can be taken as racist now. Back in the 30s, it wasn't considered racist. But now it's considered racist. Where am I going with this? Well, Hank Williams Jr., the total rebel, he made his own version of the song live. And in the song where the racist lyrics pop up, thank you for the follow, he changed it so that it's woke, so that it's more up to date. So you don't get, when he sings it now, you don't hear the racist lyrics. There we go. Now that's where I want it, right there. You don't get the racist lyrics. And that's what I find significant is when you get someone like him who is the bad boy of country music and yada, 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 with his reputation. And then he takes his dad's song and he changes it so that that doesn't sound as racist. That's something to be said for that. I think a little more would be really good. I think a little more there. We're really close to where I want to be. But he changed the lyrics. So if you ever look that up, for his version of that song, the lyrics have been changed to conform. With everybody's thoughts nowadays. And it surprises you, like I said, because Hank Williams Jr. is always the bad boy. So he mellowed the song out, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with mellowing the song out. And it said, well, it's better than having a lot of people point fingers at you for saying that. That's just because I do the old version, and I'm always pointing it out during my show. Hey, I know there's racist stuff in here, but it's the song. It's hard to go back and look at someone, and I'm not saying Chevy Chase is good in this. I think what he did was very bad. Even when he was doing it with Richard Pryor, it was very bad. Okay, but there's something to be said of how careful everybody is now with that stuff. Hi, Captain Spaulding. Hello. And Chevy Chase should have gotten in trouble for it. There's no excuse. Well, back when I was a young boy, this is how we did this. Well, you're not a young boy anymore, and the times have changed. So there's really, I made so much of this today. There's really no excuse for having said it. For having said what he said. So that's where I'm at. That's my whole point with the Hank Williams Jr. story, is that even Hank Williams Jr., who's the bad boy of country music, knew better than to leave the words in Kalijah the way they were. The way they were originally. It's a different time that we live in now. A different time. 2 coats of this should be fine. On this gray. 2 coats should be perfect on here. But he blew it big time. And then to come out, do that interview, and say what he said during the interview, that was not good either. How's everybody doing? Nancy Matz is going to be coming on with me sometime next week to do a co-host on TikTok with me. And she's going to be talking about her premonition of the time she was at Farrell's ice cream parlor here in Sacramento. And she had her daughter, and they were just having ice cream. I think her mother was with her. And she got a feeling that something horrible was going to happen at that restaurant. And so, being in that situation as a psychic would be really hard, because you don't want to start a panic, with people. And so she made the choice not to say anything, which was the right choice, because you don't want to start a panic, because then if you're wrong, So she decided to take her kid, her mother, or whoever was with her, and they left. And so they got about maybe 2 blocks away from the restaurant. And her daughter says, "Mommy, look out the back window." And she looks out the back window, and there's smoke coming out of the restaurant, a big old plume of smoke. Well, what happened was that they were having an air show. There's an airport across the way from that building, and they were having an air show. And one of the planes crashed into the restaurant, killed people, unalive people. And it's a big deal here in town. In fact, I think they turned it into a bakery. Since then, it's become a bakery. And there's all kinds of story about paranormal activity. You can hear kids, playing and stuff like that, because Farrell's was all about, that's like Disneyland, right? You guys that remember Farrell's. There we go. So a couple more, a second coat will be perfect on here. So anyway, she's going to come on and talk about that, when she had that experience. And I think there is a responsibility with psychics to a certain point. But on the other hand, if you go up there and say, okay, yeah, I think this is good. I'm going to be going. I think this is going to happen here at your restaurant. But then you've got no proof to back it up. All you're saying is that, see, there it is there. Here, I'll show you guys over here. Show you guys over here. I'll add more to it. It looks darker on this side. But there is a responsibility. But how do you go into a restaurant like that and say something like that? To tell the people in the restaurant that, hey, I think something horrible is going to happen, and so you guys need to get out of here. And they're going to look at you like you've lost all your marbles. No one's going to believe you. So that's the choice she made. And I honestly, I'm going to make sure I do the piece that broke, so I make sure I get it. There it is. And I don't blame her. I look at, the facts and all this and the way she talks about it. I don't blame her for making that choice because, that would be hard to tell people, hey, I think something bad's going to happen when everybody's enjoying themselves and stuff. So she's going to come on and talk about that, that experience. But that place is reportedly made a lot of ghost activity in that place, including from the pilot of the airplane. And it was like a T-36. It was an old airplane, so it was like an old training airplane that the guy was flying. An old trainer when it hit. They still use that airport. That airport's it's called Executive Airport. A lot of people who are private pilots fly out of that airport. But it's interesting because as a kid, the Goodyear Blimp also used to fly out of that airport. And when I had my flight on the Goodyear Blimp, that's where we took off from and landed back in there. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and make some more of the yellow frosting, and we're going to do another coat, only thicker on the other half of the building while this dries. And we'll try and get at least 2 coats in on this today. But she is coming on as a guest, so that'll be fun. We're going to set the day up. The evening up for her to come on. Might even coax her in a couple of readings or 2. Who knows? But, yeah. Let's see. We've covered retirement. We covered premonitions. We covered racism today. We're rolling right along, aren't we? We're covering the gambit today. I got to make sure I sleep tonight, too. I'll be so eager over my contacts and worried about it tomorrow. I won't sleep tonight. That'll really have my eyes dry and I won't be able to see right. Welcome, everybody. If you can, give me a like and follow. Give me a good follow. We do projects like this. We do psychic development classes. I do readings. We do ghost hunting. We go on ghost hunts. We have sub-only stuff where we go on ghost hunts. Sub-only stuff for evidence review. So we do a lot of stuff. So come on in and join us. We're a fun bunch. And I'm not some boring psychic that you're going to see just doing straight card readings. I'm going to make you laugh. I want to take you away from the 3-4 hours that I'm on. I want to take you away from whatever problems you have and that you have a great time and enjoy yourself. And it can get pretty rowdy. It's funny to see the reaction of the people that have been with me for a long time on TikTok, in that when we do get to those hats and mustaches, this is where we really blow the roof off with songs and stuff. When we do get to that point for the hats and mustaches, a whole bunch of people will go, wow, here we go, because we just take off. I won't stop. I'll do 6 songs in a row, mixed in with the sort of yeehaws, and things like that. Gets to be fun. Okay. Hopefully that one dries and I can do the second coat. But it's imperative I get the contacts because that's what's going to, I have to wait on my glasses, but that's what's going to lead to us. I want to make a trip to San Francisco once I get my car door fixed and where it actually opens, closes properly. It's mostly opening, sticking a lot more now. So I got to take it to my friendly neighborhood gas station, have them look at it, see if they can figure out if it's just a matter of maybe it's the wiring because it opens fine. Like outside, when you open it from the outside, there's no problem. When you go to open it from the inside, you have to push on the door because it sticks. Or I've done it to where I turn the key on and then turn the key off, and then it still sticks a little bit. It opens. But it only did that during the rain before, and now it's doing it like when it's not raining. So it's getting kind of scary to drive that car. But once I get that done, we're back to doing ghost hunts, back on schedule, doing all kinds of stuff. And you guys are invited. And during these hunts, I will let you guys pick what equipment we use. Like if we're in a room and I go in with multiple pieces of equipment, I'm going to let you guys choose what you want us to do, whether it's going to be EVP or some other method for ghost hunting. You guys are going to get to choose. Okay, so let this dry. Let me do, I think that 1/2, that's got to be the one. Let me double check. I'm going to look on there, make sure that is that roof piece. I think it is. I believe it's that roof piece. So I'm going to paint that. Okay. So here's this. There's these back windows. I'm sure these are back windows or vents. Do it without dropping it because I'm a moron. See, it looks like that. See how it's gray already? See how it's gray? So let me double check. Make sure before I start painting that piece that I got the right thing on it or for it. Christmas vacation. Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at the build on here. So you put that piece on, and then, okay, that makes sense. And then you're going to put, that's that top roof right there. Okay, so there is another piece that goes over the other side. So let's go ahead. I'm going to paint this. And I think this other piece right here, it's either this piece. No, not that one. I don't think it's you. I think it's this piece is the second half, the other side, where it sits like this. Thank you for the popular. So that's what I think. I think this is the piece here, even though they're not quite the same size. So I believe that's the piece. I do believe. Because the only other piece I have is right here. So it could very well be this piece. But again, the only piece that matches is this little one. So it could very well be this piece. But I'm thinking it's that piece, that bigger piece. So let me paint this. I hope you start feeling better, Pamela. Oh, a finger heart. Now, I'm going to do this without getting in trouble at the other networks, but when people send me finger hearts, I call them giving me the finger. So we call it giving me the finger. I tell you, you have to watch my show to understand what all this stuff is because we have a blast. All right, do I have a bigger brush available? I have to wash these brushes because I haven't washed them yet. Oh, we do. Hot diggity. Let's use the big brush. I'm tired of messing with the smaller brush. That's even worse. Now, I would think if this was a camel hair brush, this stuff would go on a lot thicker. But because it's one of these, they're cheapy plastic paint brushes, you're not going to get the same, quality of brushing that you do with like a camel hair, which I have, but I'm not going to do sticky frosting on my camel hair brushes. But as the coats go on this, it should do well, like it did with the yellow. I promise a full 2 hours tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be in good humor. Hopefully I'll have my temporary contacts in hand. If everything works, I'll try and get at least two temporary pairs out of them. But the place I really want to go wouldn't be able to see me till the 28th, which defeats the whole purpose of all this, considering my birthday's on the 2nd of February and I need to get my DMV done. So there's no choice in the matter. Okay, let this dry. And I'm seriously thinking about painting that one side, which I think would be the one, but I wish they had better view of it so I can make sure before I start slamming it down. Okay, so that's done. I got to do this corner, the broken corner, so I'll do that right now. And then tonight I'll make sure I glue the broken corner on. I have some Gorilla Glue, that might work. I really don't want to deal with super glue because I have a nasty habit of gluing things to myself, fingers and everything else. So I don't do super glue very often, just for my glasses. I use it to fix my glasses. Okay, so let this dry. Let me double check and see if I can make sure that that part I'm looking at is the correct part for the back of that. It's not showing me the back part. I'm thinking it's that one though because it looks wide enough. I'm thinking it's that big piece. I wish they changed the view around. Ah, hang on. Let's see if there's a thing that shows me what roof parts are which. No, it doesn't. But I'm thinking it's that square piece. I'm seeing something that has an arrow on it. Hang on. That looks like a roof piece, but I don't have a piece like that. It's showing this. I don't know. It's showing me. Let me see something. I'm confused. Let me look down here, see what we got. No, that's the only piece I have like that. So, and I have this, but that's on the inside. So, I'm pretty convinced that this is the piece I need. And I'm pretty convinced that maybe I should have broken this off. Because I swear that's the edge it's showing me. Wouldn't be the first time I put the wrong edge on something. Well, we're just going to have to play this one by ear. Either way, it's going to be covered up in millions of twinkly lights. You know what I mean? So, okay. So I'm going to put this over here, let it dry a little bit, and I'll do some extra painting on the other stuff before I call it a day. Because what I do right now is I'll go in there, take a break. I got to feed my cats, feed my dog. Then I'm going to crash for like an hour before I do my other show. Because my other show takes a lot out of me. So I just use that paintbrush. I got to clean the brush. Do I have a paintbrush available? Probably not. This one's good. This one will work. See if I have any I haven't used yet. That one's been used. I know I'm too lazy about cleaning these things. 98, what is it? $1.25 for like 6 brushes. So let's see if I can get the other stuff put on. I'll do an extra coat on those and then we're going to call it today. But as we work our way through, we're doing a really, it's going well. I mean, let's be real about this. It is going well. It's making a lot of progress. But we want to do it right too. Like we're never going to get the walls up until this one will work. Perfect. We'll never get those walls up until we have, the what is it, millions of twinkling lights set up on it. Okay, so we're going to wait on that, and then we're going to go ahead. All right, let me mix. Now, where did I put the other one that had the other color? There it is. Let me mix the yellow in here, and I'm going to make it thicker. And we're going to do it that way. Okay, so that's done right there. So what we're waiting on right now is we're just waiting on these to dry so that I can go ahead and do a second coat on there. I have a little mini RV. I found a cookie house thing of cookie kit. That'll be our temporary Cousin Eddie RV until the other one comes in, and that other one's going to be really fun. Okay, let me do this. Where is it? Where is it? It's over here. Over here. Christmas vacation. Okay. So let me do this real quick. I can go till 4:30 and then go in there and take my break. Good night. But yeah, like I said, the whole day got shot to hell. So I'm not happy about it. So, and hopefully tomorrow goes well. Like I said, everybody pray that all goes well at the eye doctor tomorrow, so I get fitted for contacts. I don't see why it would be that difficult, because I think, a lot of this thing with my glasses was that because of my coverage, I went to an old eye doctor that I hadn't seen in like 5 years. And when she did my eyes, she just went, "Oh my God, it's such a high prescription. There's a dramatic change." But see, that's 5 years right there, right? So I think that was part of the thing. And with this, I'm going to a doctor where my last prescription was 2 years ago. So I think this one's going to go a little smoother, because then the doctor has a starting point where she didn't have a start. She had a starting point from 5 years ago. So just a little bit. Let's tighten it just a little bit on it. That's a brush I could use. Not that one. Okay. So I think it's going to be an easier test with this. Let's just pour this over the top and just wet as we go. I don't want it too wet. On the other hand, I don't want it too thick either. But that might work right there. Let's just try that. Let's try this and see how it works. Go grab a piece. Oh yeah, I like that. See if I can get it on that thick, I'll be really happy. Okay. So I think this might end up being an easier trip to the doctor, because he's already got my thing from 2 years ago. Or they already have me on file. So we'll see. I hope it is. I hope it's an easier trip. Oh, there we go. Now that's going to make it nice and yellow. That'll be just nice and yellow. In fact, I could thicken that a little more, which I may do. Oh, yeah, you can see the difference in this one. What's going on, man? I may thicken this a little more. Yeah, it's almost the same color as that now. I'm going to thicken it a little bit more. But like I said, it's going to be, I think it might be an easier. Because like I said, the gal that I went to for my glasses, because of my coverage, I saw her when my mother was still alive, probably around 2010. 2010, probably 2010 or 2011, I saw her the last time. And then this guy, I saw him in 2019. No, 2020. It was just after my mom passed, because we went to Disneyland. My friend and I did. I think it was 2019 or 2020. 2020 or 2021 is when I got done with him. So I think that's going to be huge. A huge difference, because he already has everything on file. So we'll find out. But according to her, is that even though my glasses script is so strong, she said that contact lens prescriptions would work to make my eyes at least 20/40. So I was better off with contacts than I was with glasses. I gotta do something. Where'd that cup go? Oh, I don't have a cup. I'm gonna pour some of this water out without dumping. A little more? Okay. I didn't allow anything important in it. No. Except my hands. I think a nice thickness right now. Okay, let's do this. So hopefully so just pray for me for tomorrow, because this is vitally important tomorrow. I've only been driving like 2 blocks, around my house, that kind of thing. Because I see about 35 feet with these. Here's the deal. The glasses broke 3 times. And 3 times I've glued them together. So my reality with the glasses is that I glued them together, which is all fine and dandy, but they're not balanced, and that's not helping my situation. So I can only see about 30, 40 feet, maybe 50 feet, and then beyond that, things start to get blurry. So I'm not driving anywhere far. Everything is within like 2-3 blocks circumference of my house. So we're going to do a quick job on these, and then I'll go back to that because I might not be able to do it. That might be too soaked. Okay, so that's nice. That's nice the way it's built up on there. I'll show you guys. Christmas vacation. See how nice and yellow it is now? It's almost like the front. See it? In fact, it's almost the same color. Yeah, we got this. It's just about matching now. See how they match? That's what we want. Okay, let me do some more work here on this without knocking everything everywhere. Then I have to let all this dry, and then what happens is that when I come back in here at 6, all this comes down, and then I set up for the other show. I hope you start feeling better, Pamela. To anybody that's not feeling well today, I hope you start feeling better. It's no fun not feeling well. And that COVID, and then you got that bad cold and that flu going around. I thought I had caught that cold a couple of days, but the symptoms were away. I had the flu shot, so, but the symptoms did go away. But it got to the point where my throat was so scratchy I could hardly talk. But again, it went away. What time is it? I got to watch the clock. Okay, 3:54. Because again, I'm not trying to skip out on you guys, but I got to make sure I get at least an hour in. I usually sleep till 5:55. So if I can get in there between 4:15 and 4:30 and crash down, I'm doing good. For the show tonight. Because if you've ever seen my show, I use a lot of energy during the show. So this is coming out as it should. Nicely yellow, nicely thick. And I've got stories about, you think of this movie and Clark taking off on the flying on the disc. When he took off on the disc. And my mother did that. I almost flew off into the freeway. Scared my dad to death. She was coming down so fast, she broke 2 heels on the shoes the boots she was wearing. Scared to death. Mom was good for stuff like that. Again, this is a case where I didn't feel comfortable doing it. She kept yelling at me to get higher and higher on the hill. And I looked at her and I went, I'm not getting high on that hill. Are you crazy? Especially on a snow disc. No, can't stop. Can't control those things. All the sleds I've had over the years that I bought and made sure I bought always have a set of brakes. Because I've had too many close calls on sleds. And I look at those discs and I think, oh, no. No brakes, too easy to bonk your head or something on with them. And I didn't that day, and she got really upset with me because, they drove all the way up there to go to the snow. You know how parents are. Yada, yada, yada. And she went up fairly high, and we were in this area that was flat, but there was about 40 feet, 50 feet And then there was a sheer cliff to the freeway. And I just looked at my dad and went, I'm not doing it. So my mom gets up there in her mood, going to prove a point. And she came down like a rocket. My dad had to dive on top of her to stop her, or she would have literally flown into somebody's windshield on the freeway. It was spooky. Very, very spooky. But that's how she was. And there's other adventures I could tell you guys about, like when we were boating and stuff, and I wouldn't jump in the water because the boat was, the engine had conked out on the boat, and we were getting closer to shore, these other boats, and I got yelled at. I don't swim that well. I swim underwater, I can dock paddle, I can keep myself alive. I'm drown proof, right? And this is the river. So the river here, if you go like 10 feet away from the shore, there's drops. There's undertow and there's drops. And we were about probably 7-8 feet away from the shore. And my mother was petrified that we were going to hit this other boat. And so, of course, I got cussed out because I didn't jump in the water. And she jumped in and she got sucked via vacuum from the boat. She got sucked underneath the boat and then popped back up. That's crazy. Score another one for me. Another time, we were looking for a place to camp. We had a 20-foot cabin cruiser back then. And further up north, they have these floating islands. And generally, all they are is they're trees, but they're reeds, right? The roots go down into the water, go down to the sand, but they float. They're really not, there's no ground there. That's why it's floating islands. And that was another time I was on the bow of the boat, and I was going to tie off. I was trying to tie off to a pole that was out there, a docking pole. And I just couldn't get it right. And then she got frustrated with me, as usual, grabbed the front line, the bow line, and jumped off onto this island without thinking. And she sunk all the way down to her waist on this island. And again, that's where I was smarter than she was, because I went, no, I'm not doing that. You're not going to get me to jump off the bow of the boat into that island at all. So that was another moment of argument with her over the floating island. And then there's a lot of and thens. Going back to the dock, there was this channel, and my dad's map, underwater maps, weren't matching up with what he had heard the stories, right? Because we also had a depth finder. So the underwater, so the map he had, the chart, wasn't matching up with what the depth finder was finding. And so he says, okay, you guys, when we go in here, remember there's a sandbar on one side and there's a clear on the other side. Remember where the sandbar is. Okay? So we get to the point where we're leaving for that day. And my dad says, okay, where's the sandbar? And I looked at him and I said, oh, it's over on the right. And my mother insisted that it was on the left. And of course, because I'm the young one, he went with what my mother said. And when he drove the boat, it went right into the sandbar. Bright side is the boat had a huge motor on it. It was a 24-foot cabin cruiser, but it had a big enough motor where you could water ski off the back. And so he just threw it into gear, and that boat just ate that sandbar alive and got us off the sandbar. But he was mad. For years he talked about that when my mother did that and insisted that, I was wrong and she was right, and he needed to take that route. So there were moments, and they were funny. You look back on that stuff. At the time, it's not funny, but when you look back on that stuff, it is funny. I loved it. In fact, when we had the boat just tied off at a arena, I used to go out there every night go fishing. Because the catfish and the other fish would come off the main channel to take a breather. And we were like tied. We not only were we in the arena, like tied, we were the furthest toward shore. Hi, Susan. And so the catfish and all the other fish would come into that area to go take a breather. I caught legal stripers out of there. I caught salmon in there. And in the summer, lots of catfish. Lots of catfish. Okay, all that's done. So I'm going to clean this brush, and then we're going to go ahead and do some work on the gray. And that's going to do it for today. And anyway, so that's that story, you know. And I used to love going there. We had the boat in that water for a long time over there. And it was fun. All kinds of fish. The striper, when I caught the striper in there, what a challenge that was. That striper fought and it took off and it ran under the other boats on the other side. So I had to fight that thing in. My brother, you know, he wasn't the most outdoorsy guy. He was when he was young. It was funny because he looked at me and he goes, finally, he goes, I'm trying to bring this thing in. And you got to remember, we're in a narrow little spot, narrow little inlet. And my brother looks at me and goes, do you need the net? And I finally looked up and went, well, yeah, you know. So we caught that one with a net. But I mean, it was funny. Because his whole attitude with it, are you going to have the net? And I'm like, gee, I'm standing here fighting this fish for 20 minutes. What do you think? But that was incredible. Because it was going, because there were houseboats moored across from where our boat was on the side, on the main channel side. And they, that's where the fish went. The fish dove under the houseboats, trying to get away. But I held steady. And I never caught anything that big in my life up to that point. And I was trying to remember everything I'd seen on TV. Back then, no TikTok. And I thought, okay, I gotta loosen up the drag. So I had my brother, I was holding on for dear life, had him loosen up the drag. Don't loosen it up too much because, you know, it's going to take off and all this. And so I'm sitting there and it's going through my head. What do I do? What do I do? How do I handle this? And I got it in. Great fish. It tasted so good. I've caught bigger things since then, but that was my first time I ever caught anything huge like that big. You got to remember, for a striper, it's got to be good size to keep for a keeper. You know, so. But I loved it. I could go down there every night. And then the mosquitoes were horrible. And I would go down there and people would laugh at me because we have 105-degree nights, 110-degree nights. And people would laugh at me because I would sit there and I was wearing real thick jeans and flannel because the mosquitoes couldn't bite me through the flannel. So people would laugh at me because I'm dressed like that. So they're kind of comical. But they laugh and point. And I'd think, well, wait till you sit out here. See how it's gray now? That's what we want, is that gray? It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to put the lights on and snow. But it was like with the people, my whole attitude was like, well, you come down here, sit down here at night when these mosquitoes start coming in. You know, so, yeah, so I was all like in flannel shirts out there. Hot. Always had cold drinks all the time. Plus the boat had a kitchenette, so we were able to have ice and stuff. But I used to be able to come home with like 6 catfish a night, good sized ones. My mother knew that's one fish my mother knew how to make. Trout, she had issues with, but catfish, because she grew up on it, she knew how to cook catfish. And so I would come home with this catfish, and my mother and I would eat it. My dad hated fish, so it was just my mom and I mainly. Ah, the adventures of it all. And when I'm feeling good and I don't have these dizzy spells, I will take you guys to Berkeley Pier. We'll do some fishing. Now out there, you're looking at perch. You're looking at any type of ocean fish. Lots of sharks. I caught a small hammerhead out there once, right off the pier. But you can get cabezoni. I mean, you name it, you can get it out there. I was excited, but the hammerhead was only like 10 inches, 10 to 12 inches long that I caught. But of course, I was all stoked and excited because heck, how many times in your life do you catch a hammerhead shark? Then I caught something so big off of there one time. You can tell because you get something big, it's going to run right away. And generally, what they'll do is the fish will dive to the bottom trying to get loose and break the line. The fish will dive to the bottom. So if you get something really big on your line and you know you've got a fish, but you're not sure what you have, if it dives all the way down, you know you've got something huge. And I think it was a ray because you can get rays off of that pier. And sure enough, I'm sitting there, had my pole propped up against the pole prop, having a sandwich. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden my pole almost goes in the water. I thought, oh God. So I had guys just in time, started the drag up, started to roll, and then all of a sudden the bull pit completely in half because whatever it was dove to the bottom. And then the line broke. So I knew I had something big. And what's interesting with that, with me being a fisherman, even if I didn't catch it, just knowing that something like that, that huge, had taken my bait, just totally blew me away. It was very impressive. I'm going to try and put these plastic things with this paint that I made because I might do extra coats on this. I'm going to try and put them in plastic, like plastic baggies for storage. That way I can have access to it again. But I don't think the roof is going to be that big a deal because I'm going to be covering it up anyway. All right, let that dry. Put that over there. You may dry. Let's do this part right here. And that's probably going to do it for today. So I can go take my night break. Just one of you over here. Well, two. But there's a lot of people peeking in. There'll be about 300 people that watched me live on TikTok today. Oh, thank you for the Sunday. Whoever sent the Sunday, thank you. Thank you so much. See, I'm like the Karate Kid. Paint the house. So we should be able to start, if everything goes well tonight and the stuff dries right, we should be able to start the thousands of twinkling lights tomorrow. And that's going to be a process. Those have to be put on one by one. So I have to line them up straight, and all that. And they have to be put on. They're going to be kind of dripped on. I have the point thing that came with the color. But the idea is you just got to drip them on there. I still got to get you guys video of my front yard. I'm waiting on some LEDs to come in. I had some LEDs go out. So I'm waiting on back on. There we go. Okay. That was the reset, Pamela. I didn't get my palm tree done like I usually do. It's the palm tree truck. That's one place I didn't get lights on it this year. Usually that has green lights going up the trunk. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it. I think this is going to do it. This is a wrap today. Glad you guys came. Wish I could have been on longer. Unfortunately, tomorrow I promised 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Pacific to do this. I promised to do it tomorrow. And I'm going to go wash my brushes and soak them. My brushes. Extra brushes. So we'll continue tomorrow. And hopefully by 3 o'clock or, about 3 o'clock, 3:30 tomorrow, we can actually start putting the millions of twinkling lights on here. And I'm going to have to put some snow on this roof too. So there it is. There's the roof part. I'm going to soak these brushes today. See how it's nice and gray now? Now we got a nice slate color. So I'm going to let this dry. And then I'm going to head off. Yeah. And take my afternoon siesta. God, it's all sticky. Hello. So it's been fun, everybody. I will I will return tomorrow. I'll be back here doing this at 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. I used all the stuff up in this, so I don't have to worry about that one. That's the one that's going to be weird. So I'll be back at 2 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, I promise. Please pray for me that everything goes well with my eye appointment tomorrow so I can get contacts. That is very important right now as far as my eyes go. And I would appreciate any prayers. But thank you, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. For the people that want to follow this, 2 p.m. Pacific. And then if you are on TikTok and you have a TikTok account and you're over on the other 2 networks, come on over and see us at 6:30, the 6:35 night. Going to be doing free tarot card readings, past, present, future, and having some fun. We just don't do tarot card readings. I entertain. Hey, Brenda, what's happening? So it's good to see everybody. And again, we painted the roof today. And I'll show you guys real quick before I sign off. See, we got the gray on the roof for the roof tiles. We did some more painting of the yellow house itself. So that's huge. So I want to thank you all for coming. And I'm going to sign off. And again, if you can make it over to TikTok, some of you guys over on the other 2 networks I can't mention, come on over around 6:35, 6:45. And we're going to get started tonight with all that. And you can join me for some fun. It's always fun over on TikTok. And then again, tomorrow, 2 o'clock p.m. Pacific tomorrow. And again, please do me a favor and send out your prayers that I get that I'm able to get my contacts and everything tomorrow. Get all that okay. So, all right, other 2 networks, have a great one. Okay, good to see you all.